Elevate Thursdays. Elevate Thursdays is my weekly chat about a topic that will help you to elevate and expand your business. So today we're chatting about when honoring your emotions no longer serves you. So hands up for those of you who have heard this phrase before, you must honor your emotions. Now, I have definitely said that to my clients. Now, there is a fine line between when honoring your emotions is a really good thing, yeah, and most people need to get the practice of honoring their emotions because they're emotionally shut down. And when you're emotionally shut down, you can't really function in a way that is authentic to you and in an empowered way. However, what I notice with clients, with myself, with audience members is that we can use this honoring of our emotions in a way that actually doesn't serve us anymore. And this is the topic of conversation I want to bring to the table today because it's something that is really important to know the balance so that when you are doing this practice, you are doing it in a way that is empowering to you and it's actually going to help you expand your business because there is a way of doing it which it's not doing that. So aloha for those on Instagram, hi for those on Facebook, and for those of you watching the replay, hashtag replay. And as we go along, drop me your comments, drop me your questions, because I love lots of interaction and I'd like to know what is landing for you as we chat about this. So let me just make clear what we're talking about. So honoring your emotions, basically the basic tenet of this is that instead of locking away how it is that we feel, we express what it is that we are feeling, okay? Now, as I said before, this is actually a really good practice for most people because they are not used to honoring their emotions. They're not used to expressing their emotions. They've locked themselves down, okay? So often when this happens, it's because it's not safe to be emotional. It's not safe to express your emotion, right? You're meant to have it all together or whatever the idea is there, right? So for women, this comes across very much with the anger thing, yeah? So not being allowed to feel angry. Maybe if you are the only person in your house sort of keeping the household together, so as a mother role, you're meant to be happy, you're meant to be all of these things. And so if you don't feel happy and you don't feel like being not angry, right? You're annoyed at something. You're kind of not allowed to, you're not supposed to feel those things. And so people learn this from way back when, when they're children, and they bring this into this idea of whether they're allowed to express their emotions or not is a learned behavior that they bring into their adulthood. And this turns the reason why this topic in particular is so prevalent in the spiritual and personal development world is because we know that when we honor how it is that we feel, we actually become more empowered to a point. So this is where I want to chat about is where is that point when honoring your emotions no longer serves you? Yeah. And I see that point happen quite quickly, actually, with people who get on board with suddenly feeling the freedom of being able to feel. Yeah, they have the feel that they've got the freedom of being able to feel, and it feels so yummy. Yeah. And it feels like, oh, I'm allowed to do this. And it's a really big permission piece. So I'm not discounting that part, right? That part is really beautiful. However, there is a point in time when honoring your emotions will actually stop you from moving forward and expanding into the type of woman or man or person that you desire to be, who creates the kind of success that you desire in your business. Yeah. So what I'm talking about here is the empowered honoring or disempowered honoring. And I kind of just categorize these to make it really, really easy for me to explain this. And this is something I've made up, right? Empowered honoring or disempowered honoring of what? Of your emotions, right? So aloha for those joining me. Please say hi on Facebook. Please say hi on Instagram. I'd love to know who has joined me and where you are coming in from. So there are two ways of honoring your emotions. One is an empowered way and one is a disempowered way. And this is not taught by most people. Actually, I don't even know who has taught this before. Okay. I honestly can't call up a facilitator who has talked about empowering, about honoring your emotions and differentiated between empowered honoring and disempowered honoring, right? This is something very new that has been melting away in my brain for the last 4 years. And I haven't actually seen someone pointedly note that there are times when honoring your emotions is not a good thing, right? So far at the moment, what I see in the personal and spiritual development world around this topic of honoring your emotions is that it's all good, man. Just do it, right? Now, as I have talked about before, there are ways of which this is empowering to you and will absolutely help you expand in your life and your business. And there are ways, there is a point when this honoring of your emotions actually becomes very disempowering and keeps you stuck in a loop. Hi, Toya. Lovely for you to join me. Yay. So as we go along, Toya, and those who are watching the replay, for those on Instagram and those on Facebook, please drop me comments as something drops in. I love to know what, like, you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. I needed to hear that. Or if you have questions, I'll either get to them in the moment or right at the end. So we are looking, I really want to differentiate between when it is empowered honoring of your emotions and when is disempowered honoring. Now, of course, if it's empowered honoring of your emotions, it makes you, the difference between this and the other is that in the empowered honoring of your emotions, you start to understand how it is that you really feel. And this starts to get you to understand deeper who it is that you really are. Because often how it is that we feel is based on how it is that we think, which is based on how it is that we believe, which when we get deep into what it is that we believe, we start to understand why we take certain actions and why we respond to the world at large. Okay. So the empowered honoring of your emotions is a really important part for that, right? Getting to understand yourself deeper, getting to understand how it is that you believe, what it is that you believe about the world, and how it is that you interact with the world. So then you can make really empowered decisions of asking yourself, do I want to continue being this person? Yeah. So when we get deep down into why we want to honor our emotions, it's really about a journey into learning how it is that we are thinking, what it is that we believe, and how it is we then act towards outwards in the world. Okay. So that is like the empowered part of honoring your emotions, right? And then we come to the disempowered part of honoring your emotions. And this is, as I said, I have not seen anyone talk about this before. I have talked about it personally to like a few people, but I've never seen someone come out into the world of personal development and spiritual development talking about disempowered honoring of your emotions. So the disempowered part, which I see play out a hell of a lot, is really when we are indulging in the shadowy aspects of ourselves. Okay. So let me make this more clear. I think that honoring your emotions, wherever you are, whatever it is absolutely beautiful. However, it becomes disempowered when you are indulging yourself in feeling certain emotions over and over and over and over and over again, and not learning, not going deeper into why it is that you feel that way. Okay, so when you're just doing the surface level of honoring your emotions, i.e., just feeling them, honoring them, thinking that it's okay to just be angry, to just express, and you stay at that level, right? You don't go deeper. And the deepness is where the goodness is, right? So we just talked about the deepness of that. If you can honor your emotions, then understand what that it means about how you are thinking and believing and acting in the world. That is when you get the chance to go, do I want to be like this anymore? Okay. So that's empowering because you start to understand that the way that you feel about the world is actually based about how it is that you're thinking. So it's about you. Empowered because you can change how it is that you think, believe, act, and therefore feel, right? That is the empowered route of honoring your emotions. The disempowered route, which I see so freaking much, it just drives me crazy, is just the feeling of the emotion. Yep. It's the feeling, the acknowledging, and then that is it. No personal responsibility whatsoever. Oh, we are getting harsh today on Elevate Thursday. I have come back from these holidays just on fire, honestly. So ask yourself, like, if you have done this practice before where you have honored your emotions, do you go any deeper, or do you just go, I feel like justified to feel angry and that is all? Now, as I said before, there is power. There is absolute power in healing with allowing yourself first to express that. Like, for many people, especially women, we are not allowed to express certain aspects of emotions, especially things like anger. Okay. And for men, it's sadness, right? So there is absolutely power and learning in that first step of even allowing yourself to feel and to express how it is that you feel. However, if you've been in the game for a while and all you're doing is feeling, allowing and feeling what it is that you feel, and not taking the step further, deeper into the practice of what this actually will do, which will help you expand as a human being, you're just wasting your time. Yeah. You are playing a disempowered part of yourself. You are stopping your evolvement as a human being. Yeah. So this is, as I said before, when honoring your emotions no longer serves you. You have to go deeper. You have to go deeper to get the goodness out of this type of work, right? Otherwise, you literally get stuck in the loop of how it is that you feel. Okay, whoa, rant face. Okay, let me just see if there's any comments on the Instagram. Nope. And for those of you watching live, say hi, drop me questions. For those of you catching replay, drop me questions and ahas. Okay. Yes, always deeper. It's a bastard sometimes. It sure is. But that's where the goodness is. Like, nothing ever happened without going deep. Let's be honest. Like, honest, nothing really of gold and value and goodness ever happened on the surface. At least not for me. And if it has for you, please share, because I'd love to know how you do it. Yeah. So we really talking about this disempowered honoring of your emotions. If that's where you are at and you're feeling triggered by me, this is a good thing. Stay on board. Keep listening to what I have to say, because this is especially for you. If you are in this place where you are simply honoring and expressing and not taking the further, deeper steps to understand why it is that you are thinking, believing, acting, and therefore feeling that way, you're avoiding personal responsibility, which is really disempowering, because basically what you're saying is, anything out there makes me feel this way and I have no control over it. That's just that. Isn't it? Let me just drop this question. Isn't it so much more empowering if you were to say, I can act, I can feel anything I want to feel about any situation? Yeah. What happens outside of me has no effect to how it is that I show up in the world or how it is that I feel about the world. No one out there can tell me how terrible I am. No one out there can make me feel sad or make me feel angry about, or make me feel whatever it is that you feel. Yeah. I am in control of myself and my world. That is empowered work. Yeah. That is when you actually start. When you take this one step further, this is when you start to evolve and grow. And we're meant to evolve and grow. We're meant to continue to change. Okay. So the question really is, when you are honoring your emotions, are you just indulging in a shadow archetype or disempowered part of self? Yeah. Now, for those of you who work with archetypes, you'd understand what I mean. I'm not going to go into that, into shadow archetypes. But is this, when you're honoring your emotions, are you going deeper? Okay, apart from the first step, which is bloody express it, yeah, acknowledge it, express it, get it out, let it flow. are you going deeper after that? Or are you just going, I feel entitled to feel that way? Yeah. So even this archetype of the entitled to feel this way is that princess archetype, right? And the princess isn't a queen. Let's be honest. The princess is a bratty little girl who believes that she's allowed to feel whatever she feels and take no responsibility, right? The queen understands that she's allowed to feel what she feels. And then she thinks, how would I like to create my kingdom or queendom, should I say? Yeah. Now, there are other archetypes that play for different things as well. We're not going to dive into that right now. But the question really is are you going deeper? Or are you simply doing the surface level of this work, which is honoring your emotions and therefore indulging a disempowered part of yourself? So when we do this, if this is you, keep listening. Please keep listening, because I really want you to get out of this loop, because it's not helping you to evolve anymore. Yeah, it is keeping you stuck. Because if you're doing this, if you're just honoring your emotions and feeling like that's enough, you are indulging in a disempowered part of yourself. And what this does is this strengthens this identity. Yeah, which makes it harder for you to grow and evolve. As I said before, all of us are meant to grow and evolve. If you are not especially, but particularly for spiritual entrepreneurs who are interested in creating success, there is an identity at play right now that is holding you back from that. Now, these emotions that come up for you, is that part of this current identity that is not going to serve you in the future for what it is that you desire to create in your business? Yeah. Are you honoring your emotions to the point of indulging in a disempowered part of self because you're not taking the work deeper? Yeah. And so therefore you're strengthening this identity, which currently isn't set up for success or is set up for limited success. And so therefore you're actually making it really, really hard for yourself to grow and evolve into the type of person that you need to be to create your dreams. See, do you understand what I'm putting down? Can you see why this is so important, that we know the difference between empowered honoring of our emotions, i.e. doing the deeper work, or disempowered honoring of our emotions? Yeah, just drop me a yes in the comments. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay yes. So we need to get really honest with ourselves. Yeah. We need to get really honest with ourselves, especially if you are seeing a pattern of some sort of emotion coming up. Yeah, it just keeps coming up and it keeps coming up, and it's the same situations and they keep coming up, right? You need to go deeper. It is all good. The first level, honor, acknowledge, feel, express the emotion. And then you need to take it deeper with, what does that mean? I think or believe about the world and therefore act in the world. How would I like to change how it is that I act, respond, react to the world outside? Because that is where the empowered part of this comes in for you. That is when you know that you are evolving into an emotionally resilient and intelligent human being, which has been proven to give you more chance of success in your life. Yeah. And if you need evidence of that, go read the book. I think it's called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Okay. He talks particularly about this. Yeah. So I do want to touch up on this. Okay. So there is also the tendency for this. Okay. So being heard or acknowledged versus being ignored. Okay. So when I see people tip the other way, right, they go straight into the self-responsibility piece, right? They go straight into the deeper part of it, right? They go into, why am I thinking this way? What am I believing? How am I acting? I'm going to change it because I don't want to feel it. Yeah. Equally, this is disempowered work. Yeah. So I want to make it clear that I'm not asking you to ignore how it is that you feel. Yeah. I fully believe in allowing ourselves to express how it is that we feel. Firstly, because our body stores all of that, stores all of that which we don't express. And so for us to be able to express that actually allows us on a physical, a mental, and an energetic level to free up space and energy. And therefore, if we free up space and energy, it gives us more of that to direct towards what it is that we really want to create in our lives. Yeah. If we ignore it, and we go into the whole, I shouldn't feel this way because blah, 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 it must mean this about me, and therefore I'm just not going to feel it. Or it's like, this is a waste of time, I'm not meant to feel it, and I have to go into the deeper stuff and figure out what's up with me. Yeah. If we head into that way, which I equally see people do, we ignore and we hold on to those emotions in our body and in our emotional field, our energetic field. And they do play a part in your mind too. Okay. Even if you're really good at squashing it down, right? It's bubbling underneath. Now that takes a lot of energy to keep something trapped there. Yeah. So emotions, you would have heard this before, emotions is energy in motion. We need to allow them to go through us. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that there because I want to make it clear that I'm not asking you to ignore your emotions. You absolutely have to do the feeling part, honor your emotions. However, to do this in an empowered way, to do this practice in an empowered way, you need to also go deeper so that you are making sure that in the honoring of your emotions, you are learning something about yourself. And you are asking yourself to step up into a different identity that serves you better to what it is that you want to create in your world and your business. Yeah. Yes, I'm not sure about honoring. I think for me, I'm acknowledging, I'm naming to myself, then observing without judgment of the feeling, then taking deep and taking responsibility, hopefully before expressing it, damaging others. Interesting. Okay, so this is really interesting because honoring, it doesn't matter how you say it. I say honoring, you can say acknowledging. It's the same thing, right? Basically, it's like allowing yourself to recognize that it exists. Yeah, because a lot of people don't even recognize it exists, or they don't want to. They're like, nope, not allowed to feel that. Okay. Observing without judgment of the feelings and taking responsibility, hopefully before expressing it and damaging others. There are safe ways of expressing how it is that you feel. Yeah, I would be cautious about not expressing it, only because I know that when we don't express it, there is a physical, it depends how you express it, right? But there is a physical response to holding in an emotion. So I'm sure that you express it in some way, and that might just be like a big breath, and it's like, oh fuck, okay, there it is. Okay, so it might be I just feel like with this comment, expressing to you, and I'm guessing that's Toya, expressing to you feels like if you express, you're going to damage others. That's not actually the case. So there are safe ways of expressing how it is that you feel without it damaging others. Yeah. So there are practices like journaling where you're expressing it. There's physical practices like dancing where you can express anger, joy, whatever it is that you're feeling and you weren't allowed to feel, and that does not affect other people. Yeah. You're allowed to shout in your room and into a pillow. Yeah. So just I'm just mindful of that particular way that you you worded that, to make sure that you know that you can express what it is that you feel in a way that honors or acknowledges how it is that you do feel without damaging others, therefore letting it move through your body out of your emotional field and physical field, and still have the part of you which is judging, observing without judgment, should I say. Okay. Right. So then the next part of where we go from here, right? Once we have honored our emotions in a empowered way, we've done the deeper work, okay? We've felt the thing, we start to look at what we think and believe and act in the world, and we start to go, I want that to change. This is this part. taking action in your empowered part of self after you have felt or acknowledged your emotions. Okay. So, the way that we change how it is that we react and respond to the world, which is what an emotion is, right? Something happens, you feel a certain way. Okay. Something in the outside happens, you feel a certain way. You think something, you feel something, or you feel something, you think something. It's debatable which way it works. After that, in order for you to actually evolve and grow, you need to be taking action afterwards in a way that then boosts the empowered part of you. Yeah. Which is why going deeper is necessary, because if you took action straight after you had indulged in your disempowered part of yourself, you would be taking action that served your disempowered part of yourself and therefore strengthening that even more. Yeah. So when we go through and we go, you know what, the way that I responded to that is because I think like this, and that means that I think that about myself. Do I want to do that in the future? No. Okay, this is the promise that I'm going to make to myself, and this is how I'm going to act in the future if that situation happens again. Okay, so this is the practice part. First, it takes the understanding of what it is that you're thinking and believing about the world, and therefore reacting and responding, feeling an emotion about the outside world. And then it is really taking the time to go, how is it that I would like to change myself so that I feel like I am empowered in a situation like this again? Yeah. And then the real practice comes when it happens, the situation, whatever that may be, happens. And then you get to observe, how is it that I am responding, i.e., feeling about this situation? Yeah. Am I letting myself go into the old habit of how I feel, I therefore think about this? Or am I just tweaking myself over to maybe seeing this in a different perspective, therefore thinking about it differently, therefore believing something different about myself and about the world, and therefore feeling in a different way that feels actually a lot more empowered? Yeah. That is how you start to evolve and grow, using this honoring of your emotions. So let's wrap that up for today. I have dropped a lot for you and I got feisty. I'm not apologizing. Let me, if you have any questions as you go away and you ponder this through your week, drop questions into the feed of this live, for those of you on Instagram or Facebook, and I will come back during the week, during today, and answer any questions that you have had. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was from today. Today's Elevate Thursday being when honoring your emotions no longer serves you. What jumped out for you? Now, for those of you who love to do home play, every single week I set you a few questions to explore through your life. Now, if you were just to do these questions every single week, your world would change. I guarantee that. So for those of you who love the home play, these are the two questions that I have set for you. The first one is the identity at play when you are feeling your emotions one I want to strengthen or not? Okay, so that's the first one. It's really about observing which identity is at play when you feel a certain way. Okay, so as you go through your day, notice. As you go through your week, notice. And the last question to play with this week is, how can I honor my emotions in an empowering way? Everyone has their way of doing it. Yeah, I love to dance. That to me feels empowering. It's a way I can honor my emotions but not hurt anyone. Yeah, you will have your way. So how can I do it? How can you honor your emotions in an empowering way? And there really should be a third question. So I'm going to add a third question to this. The third question is, what is the identity? What is the identity that I wish to step into that will allow me to create the kind of success that I desire? Yeah, that's the last question. And then from that, it's then, how would she react? How would she, he, or they react to this situation? What would they think about it? What would their world view be? Okay, I cannot wait to hear what drops in for you through this week. If you love the home play, you can also come back later in the week and drop your ahas from your home play, hashtag home play, on this live. So it's all kept nice and tidy in one place. And remember that I am here live 11 a.m. NZT every single Thursday. If you want to pop it in your diary, make sure you join the event. There is an event on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram, then make sure you pop it in your diary to join me or to watch the replay. As I said before, every single Thursday, I bring you a new thing, a new topic about your mindset or energy for you to be able to expand and become the kick-ass human being that you are meant to be. All right, ciao for now. Mwah. Thanks for joining me, Toya. Thanks for joining me on the replay, everyone else.